No, today I was thinking, yeah, like it was not stressful to play the match yesterday. To watch your game today was
More stressful.
more stressful,
I
especially
mean,
the final blitz game.
yeah. Oh, you watched it live when it was
Yeah, I
happening?
was watching it.
Oh
Oh.
wow. Grandmaster Vaishali is here. She's India number 3 and she's taking on Meruert Kamalidenova from Kazakhstan. It's been an epic encounter between the two of them. First draws in the classical encounters, then trading blows in 15 plus 10 segment, then trading blows again in 10 plus 10, and now we are here at 5 plus 3 segment where the first game was ended in a draw. This is the second one. So whoever wins this will win the round and will go to the quarterfinals. But in case of a draw, we'll then move to 3 plus 2. For now, let's zone in. We have the Sicilian Rosolimo d6 played by Kamalidenova. Bishop d7. Don't be fooled by the rating of Meruert. She is rated 2323, but in this tournament she has already beaten Goryachkina and some very strong opponents. Vaishali builds up this very strong center. Both of them are in their preparation, so blitzing out their moves. And Vaishali attacks the knight in the center. She takes on f3, taking back with the pawn, spoiling the structure of her opponent's king a bit. But Vaishali is like, that's okay. My king is safe. I can tuck it on h1. I have space. My knight is well placed. I'm looking at the b6 square. b5 played. An incredible preparation by Kamalidenova. You can see that the Kazakh players are tremendously hardworking and this is showing in their games. Knight takes d7 and Vaishali gets the open file. She's looking to plonk her rook into c6 square. Meruert castles here and f5 would be a very strong idea. Rook c6 played. Amazing, attacking the pawn on a6. And she goes rook to a8, slightly passive. Bishop h3 would be very strong. She goes queen c2, which is also a nice idea, trying to triple down the c file. Can black go f5 here? It's a question. You have bishop h3 then. Meruert goes knight b8 and Vaishali plays rook c7. A better idea was bishop b6 and bishop h3, giving up this and taking the pawn here towards c6. But bishop g5, excellent move here by Kamalidenova. What she's doing is she wants to trade the bishops and get control of the dark squares around the king. So takes here. And right now the knight is trapped. It cannot develop easily. And this is exactly what Vaishali is going for. Rook takes e3. a5 played, trying to develop the knight to the a6 square. The bishop comes back to f1, attacking the pawn on b5. What is Meruert going to do now? She can actually push the pawn to b4. She can also go knight a6. Instead, she goes knight d7, giving up the pawn on b5. And Vaishali goes happily and chops off the pawn. Queen g5 check. King moves to the corner, knight f6, and this is super dangerous now for Vaishali, because although she's a pawn up, her opponent is coming here on f4 with the knight, and there she is, knight h5, f5 is coming in, queen g1 offering a trade of queens. Under no circumstances should black trade queens. Queen h4 played, and pawn to a4. She goes knight to f4. The knight is beautifully positioned here. Queen g3 offering a queen trade. And Kamalidenova declines it by going back to d8, attacking the rook on c7. Vaishali doubles down with her rook. Rook c3. And queen comes to b8. I think she wants to activate her queen from b6. Rook comes to c6, stopping that idea, also attacking the d6 pawn in the future. Rook a7, trading the rooks. And Vaishali takes, queen takes, and now if you take on d6, maybe queen c5 attacks here, so not a great idea. So rook c4 played here by Vaishali, stopping queen d4 entry. The queen does not have good entry points. So h5 played, and I love this move. It's actually taking away all the back rank problems and also introducing another element into the attack. h4. Oh, she goes knight h3, attacking the queen, attacking the pawn. Queen f1. If you take, by the way, knight f2, king g2, the knight is trapped. That's the reason why goes back with the knight. Rook c6 played here by Vaishali. Rook d8 by Kamalidenova. And now rook c4. I guess Vaishali is okay with a draw, perhaps. I'm not so sure. h4, but the position looks so difficult for white. Although she's pawn up, Vaishali is under a bind. She plays h3. I like this move, making some space for the king to go to h2. And now Kamalidenova plays queen b8. King comes up to h2. And queen to b6, keeping the queen activated. b3 played. And now queen a7. Black is looking for the perfect way to attack. Maybe one nice way is to go g6, king g7, and then transferring the rook there. Maybe queen e7 to g5, also an idea. She goes queen e7. Rook to c6 played. Entering in with the rook. Also attacking the a5 pawn, but I think Kamalidenova is like, I doesn't care, I don't care, I'm threatening a mate here. Bishop comes back to f1. But now the black rook can get activated along the b file. She goes rook b8. Queen to e3 played. And now queen d8. Queen comes to c3. While white has complete control on the queen side, on the king side, it's black who's on the offensive. Rook c7. And king comes up to g7. She takes the pawn. Vaishali being very tricky here. She's like, I'm happy to win a pawn, but rook c8, now pinning it. You can't take the rook because of queen a5. But rook a7, connecting with the queen, but queen moves to g5. She comes back queen d2. Look at the clock timing. 7 minutes for Vaishali, 7 seconds for Vaishali, 5 seconds for Kamalidenova. She goes bishop g2. Brings the queen in, bishop f1. Are we looking for a draw here? f3 is hanging. No, Vaishali says, I'm playing for a win. Wow, what an attitude here. Rook c2, fantastic move by black. In fact, Kamalidenova is tremendously better here. And she goes queen g5, king h1, rook b2, excellent chess. And there are some tricks with knight h3, by the way, that should be borne in mind. Like here, you can take queen takes queen, knight takes. Vaishali plays here, rook b1, rook c1, takes the rook, queen takes. Oh my goodness, a huge mistake by Kamalidenova. She makes big blunder, queen c3, queen b6, and now you can see at this point Vaishali is completely winning because her attack has stopped. White pawns are advancing and you can't do anything. Queen e3 offering a trade of queens. She comes back, queen b8, a7. The pawn is just one step away from queening. And Vaishali is like, I'm going to push my other pawn as well. Goes b4, f6, b5. Knight goes back and the other side threatening to queen. So she has to go back, queen a8 here. She's thinking still, but queen 8, it's the only move. Meruert, yes, she plays queen a8 and b6 with the idea of b7 and making a queen. Takes, queen takes and makes a queen. Vaishali manages to win and has eliminated her opponent. She moves into the 5th round, into the quarterfinals. What an epic struggle for Vaishali. She managed to keep her calm through all the ups and downs. Sometimes she was leading and her opponent equalized. Sometimes Kamalidenova was leading and Vaishali equalized. But in the end, it was Vaishali who managed to triumph. Kudos to the Kazakh player who's shown great mental fortitude and fighting spirit in this tournament. Even in this game, she could have very well won. I'm sure big things lie ahead of her. But for now, Vaishali is all set to reach the quarters and will face Tan Zhongyi in the semis. in the quarterfinals to reach the semis. Can she make it to the top 3 to the candidates? Things happened really quickly in this game, and at this point Kamalidenova was winning. Her threat is queen g3 check because the pawn is pinned. So Vaishali put her king back on h1. Rook b2 was a great move, and now rook c6. At this point Kamalidenova had a brilliant tactic, which was knight takes h3. It doesn't look that special. Okay, firstly, if you take here, I have rook b1 check. If the king moves up, it's a checkmate. So you have to play rook c1, but then I take and it's defended by the queen here. So that's winning. But instead, here, if you take queen g5, I take knight g5, and it feels like white should be the one who's better because of these queenside pawns. But the problem is that the knight, pawn and the rook make a very strong mating attack. So for example, if you come here and defend everything on f3 and b3, I go rook b1 attacking the bishop, and after king h1 I have knight h3 check, king g2, knight f4 check. King here is met with knight e2, you lose the rook, and it's just jumping. And for the other hand, like let's say if you go king g2 here, I have h3, suddenly the h pawn nets the piece, and this was winning for black. Instead, Kamalidenova played rook b1, and when Vaishali played rook c1, in came a huge mistake, which was to trade. She must keep the rook here and the position is still complex, but she took, queen takes, and after this there was no attack, and the white pawns simply rushed down the board, and before you even knew it, Vaishali was winning.
Washington, D.C.